Hi again everybody. Firstly, can I apologise if I'm not responding to your YouTube videos or a comment that you may well have left for me. I'm still having issues getting notifications from YouTube, whether or not it is someone putting a YouTube video up on YouTube responding to one of my YouTube videos or responding to a message I've left. I am trying to resolve this. I use Windows 10, which has a notification section which is supposed to notify me when someone puts a video up or responds to a question I've left, or indeed one of my videos. And it gives me a list of YouTube links to people, whether it's a question or whether it's a video, and more often than not, when I click on the link, it just disappears, which I'm aware that there's a bug in Windows 10. Sorry about that, it's my phone. So yeah, I'm trying to resolve that situation with Windows. And there's an Android application that replicates the iPhone phone while running under Windows 10, so I'm going to try that. But I am trying to resolve the situation so I can watch your videos and respond to questions and so on. But anyway, this video is about speakers. Now, I've noticed several people are replacing the default speaker in locos. And I just want to revisit a video I put up quite a long time ago now regarding speakers and the dangers of not using the correct speaker. Now, these two speakers are called AM1s, which is a slightly smaller version than the AM2. Now, when if you want two speakers, for example, there are two options open to you. One way is called series wiring and the other is parallel wiring. And what that simply means is, if I wire these two speakers together in parallel, I'd put red to red, don't know whether you can see the colouring, black to black, and then the two black wires coming out, and that would be in parallel. If I wanted to do it in series, I put black to red, which would then leave me a black and a red to connect to the DCC decoder or the main circuit board in your loco. When testing speakers using a simple multimeter to determine the ohm factor, you have to be aware that multimeters measure DC resistance, not AC impedance, although they're roughly a similar thing, but DC resistance is somewhat lower. As you can see here, I've managed to just connect a multimeter up to one of these speakers, and it comes out at 4.5 ohms. That's roughly what these are, 4 ohm speakers. So what you have to be aware of is the ohm resistance needed by your decoder. Most modern decoders these days, whether it's a Zimo or an ESU decoder, they will work comfortably, relatively comfortably, with 4 ohm or 8 ohm resistance. If you had a 3.5 ESU decoder, for example, or even version 3, they require 100 ohm. If you were to put one of these speakers in, replacing the 100 ohm, you would either blow the speaker because the resistance wouldn't be anywhere near what you would need, or you would damage the output amplifier. So you have to be very careful. Going back to these, because these are 4 ohm each, if I were to wire them in parallel, what you do is double the ohms, so they would become roughly 8 ohms. And when I say roughly, anything connected in a speaker creates some form of resistance, such as the wires. If I was to test those 2 wires, you'll get slightly less resistance than what it actually is, because the wire itself is creating some sort of resistance. If I was to wire them in parallel, what you have to do is divide the ohms by the number of speakers. So for example, if this was 4 ohms and this was 4 ohms and I wired them in parallel, you divide 4 by 2, so you only get 2 ohms, which is way too low, far too low. What you're better off doing, if you wanted 2 speakers in your loco, is to wire them in parallel. So you'd end up with probably just under 8 ohms if you wired 2 4 ohms together. You would find that the volume would be slightly dropped, but you wouldn't notice the difference. It'd be so minimum. So yeah, my advice would be to wire them, if in doubt, to wire them in series. I mean, if for example, if you had 2 8 ohm speakers and you wanted them in parallel, so you'd end up with 4 ohms, then you'd be relatively safe in a Zimmo decoder, brand new Zimmo decoder, or a new ESU version 4 or 5, which would work with 4 ohms. And the reason I put this video up is I noticed some people are doing this, and I just wanted to warn people. The best example I can give you, if you have a TTS decoder, for example, if you look at the manual of a TTS decoder, you will see that it requires no less than 8 ohms. So I couldn't put 2 speakers like this in, 2 4 ohm speakers in, unless I wired them in series. If I wired them in parallel and ended up with 2 ohms, it would damage the speakers or the amplifier within the decoder. So you have to be careful how you wire speakers together, whether it's parallel or in series, and the decoder itself. If you've got an old loco with 3 or 3.5 ESU decoder, sound decoder, do not use anything less than 100 ohms. That's it for now for this video. What I'm trying to do at the moment is finish off cutting the cork for my track, and that'll be the next video. I'll show you the finished results. It's a slow process, cutting and laying cork on the track. So that's it for now. I hope this video was helpful to those that want to change the speakers or upgrade speakers. So thanks for now. Bye.